YouTube is harder now. And we did an entire podcast on why YouTubers are quitting. There was just a big rash of videos about that. And as I dug in, I discovered that people were struggling in real legitimate ways.
Yeah.
If you're a person who's trying to be a content creator, whether it be Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and you feel like you can never get the traction you want, I'm here to tell you that it's not just you and you're not crazy. There's a real reason why it's very difficult to get traction on social media. So I want to dig into some facts, some stats, some personal stories, and then we're going to give some of our tips on how we found success in our own little niche of the internet.
But first, we want to thank our sponsor, Squarespace.
Yeah, if you're looking to look successful, you can do that by getting your own Squarespace, because then you won't have some piecemeal together website. You can have something that's clean and professional, where everything is shown to your potential clients in a way you want them to see it, not social media where they're getting ads and stuff too. Try it for 14 days. There's no risk. There's no risk. You just try it. If you don't like it, leave it, but you will, and you're going to want 10% off with my coupon. So go to squarespace.com/Chelsea and use the coupon code Chelsea to get 10% off. That's CHELSEA. Thank you, Squarespace.
I already knew how to spell your name.
Yeah, but not everybody knows.
Oh, okay, because other people aren't married to you.
I got root beer. This is...
Well, why don't you tell us why YouTube is suddenly harder? Because, like, I've noticed our views are down, our subscribers are down, our revenue is down.
Yeah.
And I thought, it must be me. People have decided that they hate me. But then I look at us versus our peers, and everybody is down.
Yeah, a lot of people are down. Of course, there's exceptions to that, but I agree with you. I was feeling like it was personal. I saw other people were feeling like it was personal. So, you know, I'm a nerd and I had to dig into some information. And I found that Linktree had a really good infographics of measuring the creator space. And so I pulled some 2023 statistics just to give you an idea of where it's at. So if you're a person who considers themselves a content creator, you are one of 200 million people on the planet who call themselves content creator.
I don't, how could that be?
I thought it was a mistake.
I know that's global, but the United States has 300 million people.
Yeah, all of them content
So just imagine all of the United States. Wow, that's so many.
Well, so it does sound impossible. There's like 4.2 billion social media users. But if you break down the numbers by how serious people are, it starts to make sense. So recreational content creators are people with 0 to 1,000 followers, and there's 23 million of them. And that's not a hard barrier to entry. Like, our friends, 8-year-olds, have had YouTubes.
Yeah.
Remember, we would watch their lives, but then we'd be the only ones, and we'd have to call our friend and be like, I feel weird, man, but I don't want to hurt your kid's feelings, but I'm the only one watching your kid.
I know they see a number, and it's a number of live viewers,
just
and
sees
it's just
one.
one viewer, and if it goes down to 0, there's going to be a crying kid on YouTube.
I'm not taking your kid to
that
0.
nobody sees.
Take them to the park. You're killing me. Yeah, so there's the kid who says they're a content creator and they have just me watching. There's semi-pro with 1 to 10,000 followers, and that's 139 million people.
That's such a big number.
Well,
to being semi-pro, that must mean they're making some kind of money, but they're not living off of it.
I guess, because I've known people with social media and they'll make like, I saw one girl on TikTok, she was in high school or something, and she made like $200, and she really thought she was living the high life.
Yeah.
But that's cool. Like, of course, I remember being a teenager, I would have loved that job. But then when you actually start to break it down to pros, like 10,000 to 100,000 subscribers, it gets smaller. 41 million. Expert, 2 million. Expert plus with over 1 million followers, 2 million. So the numbers start to get smaller. The thing is, I know that the semi-pros and stuff, like, they don't seem like they would be your competition, but I think there's more competition there, because these are people that are just churning out content for free with no thought. And these are people where they don't need to think about making money. They're not trying to support a family. They'll sit there and just churn through stuff all day long. And that's competition for you, because the time people spend looking at someone else, they're not looking at you, right?
Yeah, and if you're trying to pay the bills, you might have to wedge in a sponsorship or something, and they're not doing sponsored videos.
Swipe.
Yeah, so they just immediately swipe away, and you're like, but I'm trying to eat.
Yeah, I recommend Squarespace. It's a good service and a good sponsor. So, but speaking of sponsors, the money situation is not the same. And I'm so lucky. I'm not sitting here to complain about the state of things. We got into this 15 years ago. There were, I think, 10 photography YouTube channels. I can't even count how many there are now, probably thousands.
Yeah, it seems like it.
So we didn't have the same type of competition. We were just in it early, so we didn't even know if it was possible, but it was a different thing. We also got to deal with companies before they knew what they were doing. It was like the Wild West. So we could literally throw an idea out there and they'd be like, I guess here's money. I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, the term influencer didn't really exist.
No.
And the whole idea of sponsoring YouTube channels
Didn't really.
exist.
It literally
Yeah.
did not exist. Squarespace has been our sponsor for 10 years. I found them in the spam box of our YouTube channel. I don't even know if that exists anymore. And the guy's name was Elias Frankel. Shout out to Elias. I looked up the website. I had a deserted WordPress website. And I am like so ADHD that I was like, what the heck is all this? It was just a half-built website. So I tried out Squarespace and it worked for me. And they sponsored a video and they've been sponsoring our videos for 10 years. It's been crazy. It's not really like that anymore. And I've noticed that brands don't want to commit long-term anymore. They're very much like just trying to pull money from anywhere they can get it. They're trying to sponsor a ton of people. It's a much more difficult landscape. And the numbers I found back that up. The annual revenue for full-time creators, 12% make more than $50,000 a year. Full-time. They make more money just working anywhere. 46.
So that's like $24 an hour, which
Yeah.
is a little bit over minimum wage.
But you're running a business, so you have a ton of overhead. So
That's true. And there's no health care, there's no 401k or anything.
46% of full-time creators make less than $1,000 a year. I don't understand how you're considered full-time if you're making that. You can't support a dog on $1,000 a year.
No, I assume you live with your parents and they probably really roll their eyes at you trying to be a creator making less than $3 a day.
Well, I guess that could include very beginners who haven't had enough time to really monetize or anything. And, so that could include them. But that's a lot of people, 46%. When you go to the part-time creators, 3% make more than $50K a year. 3%.
No, that's not bad for a part-time job, but it's still only 3 out of 100.
And then 68% of them make less than $1,000 a year. So it's a very tough business. And I think it's especially tough because not only are there a lot of people in it, but there's a lot of successful people that get all the eyes. So I think people think it's, easier than it really is.
Yeah, it's not too different from kids who wanted to grow up and be a movie star. Like your odds of success at that are very small, but you couldn't just go hop into a movie. And nowadays you can just pull out your smartphone and suddenly you're on YouTube or you're on TikTok. Suddenly you can just declare yourself a full-time creator and actually go about that. Like we just decided we were doing it. There's no gatekeeper. You don't have to impress a director, get somebody to read your script. You're just like into it.
Yeah, you are just into it. And I think that can make it discouraging when you jump in with all your heart and you're one of the people making less than $1,000 a year.
Yeah, there's nobody else to blame, right? You go in believing in yourself.
No, that's absolutely not true. I hear people blame everyone else all of the time. On top of all that, people are struggling to make money and make this a real career, but their stress levels that they're reporting are still very high. So even part-time creators, they're reporting that they're feeling pretty stressed a good amount of the time. It's a stressful job. You're learning with a public audience, and so I think that can be really challenging for people.
Yeah, the public audience thing is hard. Like in most jobs, you don't have people just saying awful things about you, commenting on everything about your life and attacking you. It could be rough.
And then I also found a lot of different studies about the shrinking attention span. There were so many different studies and they measured it in a lot of different ways, so I don't want to give one set of information, but basically across the board, the attention span is shrinking year over year. This one study said that when people visit their desktop and mobile websites, they've lost 49 seconds of attention span over the years of 2017, 18, and 19, which might not seem like a lot, but if people are watching for a full minute less, if they can't pay attention to get to the point or to learn something, then creators aren't able to make content that is as fulfilling to them, is as like full of substance, and also it's really hard to stick an ad into a video that's 4 seconds.
I can support this with some of our own data. I remember, so we've been at this about 15 years, and it must have been about a decade ago. I looked at 5 years of data, our first 5 years, and over the course of that 5 years, attention spans had dropped by about 30%. Like the viewing time for the same videos, the same type of content, had shrunk by 30%. And just year over year, from last year, it shrunk by about 15%.
You know what makes me crazy about that is that people often stop watching the video before we get to the point. And they're mad about just the title and something we said in the first 2 seconds.
Right.
And they can't get the full message. And that's really challenging for a content creator. You want to teach something, you want to add value, but now you have to keep crunching it down to a shorter and shorter time. I've heard a lot of people complain about that.
Yeah, it is less fulfilling because it's so rewarding when you do connect with somebody, when you are able to teach something, but I can't teach everything I want to teach in 30 seconds.
Yeah, and I think it's hard, like as I get older, I have an older person's attention span, but I'm not going to appeal to a 15-year-old that wants to watch something for literally 1 second. Mm-hmm. I'm at peace with that. Another challenge is that new is better for a lot of these platforms. They're prioritizing new content creators because they want them to feel like they're finding success so that they stay on their platform, right? They're incentivized to get more creators. TikTok wants more creators. YouTube wants more creators. So they're throwing people views to begin with, and then they'll like chop it off and show them to the next person. So you can feel like you're finally getting traction, and then where did everybody go?
I also hear from TikTok creators specifically that once they get to the threshold where they get monetized, they can actually get paid, then their views actually drop. Because it seems like TikTok isn't optimizing for what content people want to see necessarily, but rather what content is profitable for them.
I have advice for how to deal with that, but I'm going to get to that later.
Okay.
I got a lot of information here. I think I got to...
Most people have dropped off by now.
Yeah, I know.
We can just do whatever we want at this point.
Let me drink my root beer and get crazy. All right, one of my other points is that the creators are green, inexperienced, new, but the savvy multimedia companies and the middleman companies are not. They're getting more and more savvy. And in my experience dealing with them over 15 years, they are cutting out more and more and more of the money, and they're looking for less and less and less experienced creators. Of course, they want some new person that's going to do a $10,000 job for $200.
Yeah, literally.
And they charge the company $10,000. You get your $200, and then the social media manager pockets the rest. So if you're actually trying to charge a fair rate to a lot of these places, they won't come back to you because you know your worth. They want to pocket the difference, and that can make it difficult to make money. I don't deal with them anymore. They've been sneaky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're shady.
So what should you do? What are our solutions? We're definitely going to get to that. We're going to talk about how you can find your niche, how you can make sure you can support yourself, and some other tips, what's worked for us. But first, Tony, why don't you tell them about our sponsor, Squarespace, so I can drink my root beer?
You start at squarespace.com/Chelsea, and there you can pick your own custom domain name. Make something up, like I have northropphotography.com. And then you create a website around that domain that represents you, your project, your YouTube channel, your TikTok. Tell your story, sell your products, take appointments from clients. Whatever you can imagine starts at squarespace.com/Chelsea. You get a free trial. No credit card required. You just get to see how great it is. If you love it, we can save you 10% if you want to use the coupon code Chelsea, CHELSEA.
Say my name, say my name.
Thanks, Squarespace.
Here's one of the things that I noticed. When we did our quitting YouTube video, I watched a lot of people's videos and why they were either leaving YouTube or cutting back or changing something. And a lot of what I saw was people frustrated by the metrics, where they felt like the content that they wanted to make was not getting traction, and the content that people wanted was getting a lot of attention, but they weren't feeling fulfilled making that.
Yeah.
Does that resonate with you?
Oh, absolutely. And so many other YouTubers and creators that I've talked to say the same thing. I put a month into this project that I really love and it completely flopped. And then I did this really dumb thing and it was wildly successful. And
Yeah.
then your audience is suddenly like defining you because we as humans, we always want to level up, right? You're chasing whatever numbers are front and center. And if you go to YouTube, you go to TikTok, they're showing you likes, views, subscribers. And so you feel like you need to get those numbers up because that's what's front and center. But that doesn't have to be.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, there are people who are just, that's the game for them.
Right.
They love that. And that's someone like Mr. Beast is so good at that. He really,
Oh, yeah, he will lecture for hours on how to optimize the number of views, what colors to use in your thumbnail. He's not, he thinks first about what content will get views rather than like, what am I feeling passionate about today?
well, he is passionate
Well, he's
about
passionate about getting views.
that. And that's great. That's fine. That's a whole, but if that's not you, I do think you still have to do some amount of the game, right? Your title has to be catchy and everything. But I think if you want to find long-term success, you have to define it on your own. And if you're logging into a creator app and you're looking at numbers and letting that define you, you're going to have a hard time. Of course, like you have to be realistic. Obviously, if no one wants to look at your crap, you have to be like, what am I doing? What can I improve on? Am I talking for too long? Am I not planning my videos? But if you feel as though certain types of videos are getting tractions and others aren't, that's up to you. You might have to just accept that you will be happier making something less successful. We do that all the time. We just started our live show again. I think we got 6,000 views on our last one. And I don't care. I got to laugh with our audience, talk to them, see their pictures, give them tips, and teach them editing. And the number 6,000, that's fine. I felt fulfilled. I felt like I was helping people. I had fun.
We're lucky because we have the free cycles to do content that doesn't make us money. Like we're not scratching for survival. Some people are living at the edge of at the end of a thread and they need every dollar to count.
I acknowledge that, but we will get to that.
Yeah.
My next tip is to study the job. So if you think you're going to come into this, I see this all the time, where I've literally known people who think content creators are stupid, and then they try to be one and they bomb. It's so much harder than it looks, and there's a lot going on behind the scenes. If you want this to just be a fun hobby, that's fine, go for it. If you want it to be your job, treat it like a job. It is a business. You need to study, and you need to run it like a business and be serious.
Yeah, study business, study finance, study accounting, study contracts. Get yourself a bookkeeper, like all of that.
Yeah, but also just study what you're doing, like filmmaking and how to make a video and storytelling and things like that.
Search engine optimization, thumbnails, titles.
Yeah. So I think that I think it's like good that you talked about the reality of having to make money and that people don't always have that luxury. That is true, but also you don't have to make money from just the views. And in the research that I was looking at, people and content creators were finding that they were making a better living and a more stable living by finding the audience that appreciated them. You don't have to go broad. If you're trying to go viral all the time, you're competing with people that try to go viral all the time. You're competing with Mr. Beast and those people at the top. If you have a niche, and that's your little tiny nook in the market, you're really good at truck interiors, and then Tony will be watching you. And these are the people
I'm really good at hyper-realistic Easter cakes.
That's true.
That's my niche.
And that's why you make the big bucks.
Yeah.
But the point is, you don't have to have the most views and the most subscribers to make your own little corner of the internet that can support you. So when you seek out a quality audience, they're finding that people that have never even collaborated with brands are still able to support themselves. And in fact, niche creators made 23% of their money from their own products and 10% from e-courses, 3% from newsletters. Like, not all of it has to come from ads and sponsors. So keep that in mind. You might have a very loyal following that wants to do a workshop with you or buy your calendar or, I don't know, do some type of trip or something like that.
Yeah, I think there should always be another word along with creator. Like we are photography creators.
Yeah.
And that's because we had a subject matter expertise in the area of photography, and then we decided to bring that to YouTube and to other places. I think that's smart. But so many people nowadays, they just want to be a YouTuber, and they just go on doing their impression of a YouTuber without having something that they're bringing from themselves to this new platform.
What I see in our own niche, watching all these new people come in and do photography YouTube channels, is that everybody's trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but how do you stand out if you're also trying to copy someone? Being brave enough to create a new thing and find new people that want something different will probably find you more success than just finding the most successful photography related video and then copying every part of it. There's this really cool lady that I follow, and she does interior design. And she started off by just doing free videos where she'd show, this is the room, they wanted me to design it, I mocked it up, and this is the after. And she grew that to doing personal consultations for like $100 when I first started following her. Then she was booked up, her schedule. It was like 300, 900, 1,000, 2,000. Then she started training people under her. Now she's got interior design students she trains in her business. You can get a consultation with them for a couple $100 instead of her 1,000 or whatever it is. And now she has a team of people working underneath her. She does virtual consultations, and she makes affiliate money from the stuff she sells. Who would have thought that just drawing pictures of before and afters could grow that? But that's what she was passionate about. And
Well, because she had a skill set,
yeah,
right? Yeah, she brought something to it.
yeah, but also
And a passion.
she did something different.
Yeah, you're right.
She could have, you know how many, I like interior design, but so many videos are like, this chair's out and this chair's in, and it gets views, but does it bring value? No, it doesn't. So views aren't the most important thing. And then my final point is to find your balance. So if you're always letting everybody pull you off balance because that's where the trend is, that's where the views are, you're going to be unhappy. I think that the years that in our business we had the highest numbers and maybe looked outwardly the most successful were not the happiest years.
Yeah.
The happiest years were the beginning when we had not a lot of subscribers and stuff because we were doing 100% of what we wanted.
Yeah, we were just doing what we thought people would want. We were like, what would we want? And then we would just do that.
And then now, when we've figured out what we like and we don't like, and we walk away. Like we could even get a good deal, and I'll just say, I don't think I'd feel proud of making that, or I don't think I would feel good about that, or I wanted to.
Like, oh, that doesn't sound fun to me.
Yeah, or I actually wanted to go on a trip that week or something. I mean, I know that that's coming from a super privileged place, but even if you're not having huge success, sometimes you're going to find more happiness walking away from stuff. You have to define yourself some way, and that's saying no sometimes. So that's pretty much, do you have anything to add to that?
No.
Thanks. I don't know. Do you have any other tips for content creators? Like, these people are burning out and quitting, and I think that's a shame. I think there's always the option. You don't have to be pro at this. You can just do it for marketing or fun and then subsidize your business in some other way.
I think the way you build an audience on YouTube is to be yourself over and over and over again. Because most people aren't going to like anybody, even the most successful creator. Most people on the planet won't like them. But every time you make something, a few new people will follow you. And you won't build an audience by trying to be somebody else, because you won't be genuine about that. You be yourself repeatedly and passionately, and give it time. And over years, you can build a following.
Yeah, you're right. It's gotten so popular and to be such a coveted job that I feel like people are pretending to be a role that they think they're supposed to be.
All the time, yeah.
And I think people sense that, and they would rather just see realness and something different.
It's also the only thing you can sustain. You can't pretend to be somebody else we've been at this 15 years. We couldn't do it if we were trying to be Jared Polin.
You know what YouTuber I like, but I feel bad for? It's that guy you watch, like, he has all the makeup he has to wear every video.
Oh, what's his name?
I don't know. I love his videos, but I'm just like, dang, you got to really plan it out. Like, he's got to wear makeup every day. I barely want to wear pants.
Captain Disillusion?
Yes,
Or
Captain
Disillusionment?
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, I hope that that's helpful. I hope that you're not feeling so down. It's not you. It's a really competitive field. It's like trying to be a professional football player or something.
Yeah, tell us how you're feeling. Are things down for you, and how are you dealing with that emotionally? Are you okay with it? Are you tired of TikTok and AI taking all your views?
I see AI videos.
Oh yeah,
I scroll.
It's the next thing. Yeah,
It is.
You got to swipe past that, or it's going to take over.
I got to figure out how to retire before AI takes my job.
Yeah,
I bet AI will
you got
take
about 18 months, so get on it.
AI will probably take retirement. They're doing all the fun stuff. Like AI is like, I do art now. I'm going to retire for you too. All right, thanks guys, and thanks to our sponsor of 10 plus years,
Yay.
Squarespace. We really do like them, and you will too. Try it out. You get 14 days for free. You don't have to remember to cancel or anything. It just automatically goes away. And when you do like it, I know you will, try the coupon code Chelsea to get 10% off. That's CHELSEA. Bye.
Bye.